Good day, guys. Welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about adaptation. Adaptation. What is adaptation? Adaptation can be defined as the process whereby an organism gets fitted into its environment. Gets fitted into its environment. What do I mean? This is the process whereby an organism gets special features to be able to survive in its environment. For example, in the case of a giraffe, some people say that, yeah, long ago the giraffes had short neck. Yeah, why? Because there were a lot of foods on the ground for them to eat. So there was a lot of food on the ground for them to eat, so they didn't need their long necks. But as soon as they ran out of food on the ground, and the only place where they could get food was on the trees. In order to survive, yeah, they said they grew their long necks. Their long necks. That is why today giraffes have long necks. Yeah, so they say. But this story actually gives a perfect example of adaptation. Yeah, this story gives a perfect example of adaptation, as we can see. Yeah. When it comes to adaptation, there is something we call competition. This is where organisms fight for resources. This is when different organisms, they could either be from the same species or from other species. For example, as I gave the example of the giraffes earlier, a giraffe could be fighting for resources with, don't mind my drawing, sorry. A giraffe could be fighting for grass with an antelope. And since the giraffe has longer necks and it can reach higher plants and the antelopes can, the giraffe would get better food than the antelope. It can reach higher heights. It can reach trees for food. So the giraffes will certainly get more resources, unlike the antelope who can't, and the antelope may starve and eventually die. So the adaptive competition is very important when it comes to adaptation, because without competition most animals won't have to adapt. So we have types of adaptation. We have different types of adaptation. We have structural adaptation, adaptive coloration, and behavioral adaptation. Okay, let's go straight to structural adaptation. This is when an organism, or an animal, or let me just use the word organism. This is when an organism an organism's body parts, or an organism's features, as fitted specially for the purpose of living in its position. Okay, I would just go with the example of the, what do they call it? The example of the giraffe again. Yeah. So let's see. The giraffe has its long neck for basically the purpose of looking for basically to adapt for its purpose, to adapt for how it lives. The giraffe basically has long neck for the purpose of living. There are various purposes to structural adaptation. For example, the giraffe now, the basic reason for its long neck, it's for feeding. It's for feeding. It goes up high trees. Just to feed. The long necks are so that it can be able to feed off from high trees like this. That's the purpose of its long neck. And there are also some other animals that have adaptive structural adaptation for feeding also. Animals like duck that have serrated beaks for them to sieve their food, and even some insects, yeah, have modified mouths to adapt to various ways they feed. Yeah, there's another thing we'll notice again about the giraffe. Yeah, the giraffe has legs, long legs. Yeah, and this can be used. This is very good for defense. For defense, okay. The giraffe usually, the giraffe's legs are very powerful, so they usually scare predators. Whenever a giraffe is being attacked by a predator, probably a lion or a an hyena, probably a lion or an hyena. Yeah, the giraffe can use its long leg to attack the predator. Yeah, and this is used for defense. This is used for defense. For defense, yeah, its long leg. He can use his long leg to attack the predators. And there are other animals that does a lot, that does stuffs like that. Yeah, animals like porcupine have thorns all over their body to protect them from being eaten by other large predators. Porcupines have thorns. Sorry about my trying. Porcupines have thorns all over their body to protect themselves from being eaten by other predators. Some even have camouflage, just like we see in octopus and what do they call it? Octopus and chameleon. So so we have adaptive coloration. Yeah, this type of adaptation deals with animals using their color, the color of their body, to adapt to their environment. Yeah, I'm going to make example of a snake. Yeah, a snake. snakes usually have Snakes usually have the same color with the type of environment they live in. Yeah, if you've observed, snakes usually have the same color with the type of environment, sorry, they live in. That they've even generated the same, a green snake in a green grass. Yeah, they usually have the same color with the type of environment they live in. This is so that it will be difficult for other animals to see them. Yeah, both their praise and their predators. Yeah, it is very easy for them to hide away from praise or predators because you won't see them. You won't see them. Yeah, and this helps them in catching food, catching their prey, or and in it also helps them in what's the name in avoiding trouble, avoiding danger from their predators. Yeah, so we go into the third type of adaptation, which is behavioral adaptation. In this type of adaptation, organisms have to change their behavior, or change the way they behave, change the way they respond to certain changes in their environments. For example, we can one perfect animal to look at is the cheetah. Yeah, please, sorry, don't mind my cheetah drawing. Yeah, one perfect animal we should take a look at is the cheetah. Unlike other big cats, the cheetahs are not natural born hunters. Yeah, this might sound surprising to most of us, or it might be shocking to most of us, but the cheetahs are not natural born hunters because they need food, which is meat. Yeah, they had to learn how to hunt. That is why all baby cheetahs learn how to hunt. So the an example of what they practice is behavioral adaptation. Example of what they practice is behavioral adaptation. Yeah, and animals usually perform behavioral adaptation in order to obtain food. As I've said earlier, in the case of the cheetah, they learn how to catch their prey. They are not naturally built to catch prey. Just like the cheetah, they are not naturally built to catch prey. Yeah, escape and defense. Yeah, animals also have behavioral adaptation. They change their behaviors to escape and to defend themselves, to escape and defend themselves. So animals, yeah, perform behavioral adaptation for escaping and defending themselves. Just like in the case of birds. Yeah, birds. It might sound surprising to you. A lot of birds, as we know, live in high places. Why do they do this? This is so that they can stay away from predators. A lot of birds live in high places. This is so that they can stay away from predators. Predators. They can, so that they won't be predate food to predators, because a lot of their predators cannot reach them cannot reach them up high where they are. So as you can see, escape and defense. Yeah, some they also adapt to finding mates. Yeah, I would also go for birds again. Yeah, birds. A lot of birds have adapted to various ways of finding mates. Yeah, for example, peacocks. Yeah, their tail, for example, peacocks, their tail, yeah, the male with the rooster with the largest or with the brightest tail or with the brightest feather usually wins the mate over whereas there are some birds that have to dance. They dance to in order to win their mates over. They dance in order to to win their mates over. So different animals with different behaviors and how well they respond to changes in their environment. So this is part of adaptation. You guys should stick around for my next video, which is going to be on ecology. Thanks for watching.